What's up, everyone? Steven here from Techmaker.tv. In this episode, I want to make some updates to our implementation of CableReady and ActionCable in our chat application that we've been working on. I had a discussion with @leastbad over on GitHub, and they're a part of the CableReady team, and they gave me some really interesting ideas about how to improve what I've been doing here. So thanks, least bad, if you check this out. But with that said, let's go ahead and just try to get this going. So just as a quick refresher, we've got this chat application here. If I send a message, my messages should show up on the right side of the screen and be blue. They should show up on the left side for other people and be gray, and so you can see that interaction here. You can also see that we do have, well, it's not really showing up right now. Well, yes, it is. So right now, Ancient Jackhammer is not showing up online like it should be. So, there's some issues with the interaction, which we're going to work out in some future episodes. But, this is basically where we are. So at the end of one of the last episodes, we were kind of messing with the data structure that CableReady is sending out in order to discern, am I the user that posted this message, and then decide how to handle that. So let's take a quick look at that code. So if we go back over here and we look at our JavaScript room channel, you can see that right here. We're checking if it's from me. Don't post it, basically. So post it if the data is CableReady and it's not from me. So what we actually want to do is just get rid of all of this and just have CableReady.perform data operations and none of this other stuff. And that's going to go a long way toward cleaning up our code. So let's see if we can get that going. So if we go look at the room channel file over here, you can see that when somebody subscribes, let's open up our room channel JS right here. So the way we have this set up right now is on TurboLink's load, we get the room ID from the DOM basically, and then we create a subscription to that room channel with that room ID right here. And we can definitely clean this code up a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it right now too much. But I wanted to just refresh our memory on that, and then that's going to put us here. It's going to call this subscribed method ultimately, and it's going to stream from this room channel. So basically what's happening is, okay, so these are two of the elements we need to concern ourselves with. Let's open up our messages controller. So when we create a message, we're calling this send message job perform later. So let's open that up as well. So we have the send message job, and this is where we're actually doing all of our CableReady stuff right now. So the problem with the way that we have this set up right now is in our room channel here, essentially everyone is just pulling from the same stream, and I'm not sure I'm going to get the wording for that 100% right, but everybody is essentially connected to the same thing. So then here, when we call this CableReady stuff and we broadcast, everybody is getting the same message. And so that makes it such that we need to differentiate between who the different users are on the front end. And what we would like to do is do that on the back end. And that means that we need to re-architect how we're connecting people to streams. So I'm going to start with the kind of the code that I would like to write, and then see how close to that I can get. So in theory, what I would like to do is be able to say room equals message.room, and then say something along the lines of room.current users.each do user, and then something along the lines of unless user equals, well, let's say unless message, I'm going to kind of pretend like this code exists. It's not, we haven't written all this yet, so we'll say unless message sent by user. And then what we want to do is bump all this up in here. But see, the problem is because everybody is in this stream, this room channel whatever stream. Everybody, if we just ran the code as it sits, first of all, it wouldn't work because some of these methods don't exist yet, but let's assume that they all do. And let's assume there's 10 people in this room. What's going to happen right now is they're all going to get the message 10 times because we're basically going to go through here and say, hey, 10 times, or the number of users in the room, basically broadcast this message. And that's not what we want. What we want to do is say something like room, and then I don't know if we need underscore channel or not, but we can say room like that, and then we can say user, and then say user.id, or something along those lines. Again, I'm not 100% sure what the actual wording for this is, so I'm going to study up on this a little bit more, but what I would like to call this is something like stream equals, and then just grab this text, and then say something like CableReady stream, and then I actually don't want this anymore. This is what we had sort of patched in to make our stuff work on the front end, so we won't need that anymore. Okay, so let's consider what we actually need to do to make this work. So let's go to our room channel, and what we're going to do here is say stream from room, pass in the params room ID, and then say something like user underscore, and then current user.id. And remember, we have that current user coming in from the connection over here. So really, we're just kind of on the back end, we're generating. Let's see, how are we doing this? I think somewhere, maybe it's in our application controller or something, we're generating kind of a random user or something. Anyway, if you want to get deeper into all of that, you can go back into the previous episodes. I'll put a link to the playlist down in the description. So that part should work. What we would like to do though, so we have this room.currentUsers, and I don't have a real way right now to actually keep track of that. And there's a lot of ways you could do this, and I'm going to kind of take an easy road here just to kind of make my life a little bit simpler for the purposes of this video. But what we're going to do is just throw an array of user IDs onto the room. So let's do that. Let's jump over to the terminal, and we'll add a new column. So Rails G migration, add current user IDs to rooms, not rooms, rooms, and then we'll say current user IDs, and then we'll make that text. And I know that I could do this better in some other ways, but I'm not really worried about it right now. I just kind of want to make something that works, so we're going to just migrate this, and let's jump back over to the code. Okay, so what I want to do is jump over to the code and go to my room object here, room class, and I'm just going to say serialize current user IDs and make that an array. Let's do a quick sanity check here to make sure we have this set up right, and I'm just going to say room.last room.current user IDs. Okay, cool. So we're set up properly there. Let's start our server back, and let's go and let's implement the, sorry for all the screen changes there. Let's go over to our room channel. So what we want to do here is say, okay, so when we subscribe to this, what I would like to do is say room equals room.find params room ID, and then I want to say room.current user IDs, and I want to append the current user.id, and I think that should save automatically. Sorry, let me go check this really quick. So we'll just go up and get the room.last room.current user IDs, and we'll just append like the number 1, and let's say room.reload No, so we actually have to save it. Okay, cool, good to know. I should know that by heart, but I don't, apparently. So we'll say room.save right here, and then that should basically do it for at least getting the ID in there. For unsubscribed, we'll come back to that later. I don't know if I actually have the params room ID in unsubscribed or not, so that could be tricky. I assume that I do, but let's worry about that one later. Let's go over to the room and let's create a method current users, and I'm just going to say user dot. In actual fact, I have a no. Let's just say user dot where ID is in current user IDs. Okay, so let's go back to our send message job and see what's missing. So let's make sure we have a message.room. Yeah, so it belongs to room. Okay, so that will work. Then we have room.current users. Okay, so now that will work. And then we have message.sentBy, which we don't have anything defined over here really. So we'll say sent by and then user. And then we'll just say, should we do that? That's going to kind of overload user here in a weird way. Sent by sender, and then we'll say, let's see, sender dot ID equals, and we'll do user ID like that. It's kind of a weird wording. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm trying to keep this a little bit shorter than normal. One thing that was also pointed out to me is that the default is before end, so we don't actually need that, so we can get rid of that. So let's try this. Let's just try it. Let's go back over here and let's just refresh everything. And let me see what happens. We'll say hello, and it seems to still be working. Okay. Let's go to our roomchannel.js here, and let's actually just keep only this CableReady, and let's delete everything else. So that cleans up quite a bit of code there. So let's do a refresh on both of these and give it a shot. Okay. And that's working exactly how it was before. That's great. Okay, so let's go take a look at the code that we've written so far. And I've definitely got more to do on this, so I'll probably kind of just string that out over a few more episodes. Some of them will probably just be kind of generic work sessions, so I'll just put those on our website. So if you're interested in kind of following along with this, definitely go check out techmaker.tv. But let's just take a quick survey of what's left. So we definitely need to figure out what to do about unsubscribed. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. The other thing is that you could do something here where you say stream for and then give it a current user or something. I'm not sure exactly how that would work in the context where we have both a room ID and a user. Maybe because the room is going to keep track of which users are current. If we're careful to remove users from rooms whenever they leave, maybe we don't need the room ID here. I'm not sure. I bet we do. I bet we do, because you could have multiple tabs open and you don't want to get messages if you're not actually in that room. So maybe this is actually the best solution. I'll do some reading on that and kind of think about it. But otherwise, I think this works pretty well. So if you have any other ideas, definitely don't hesitate to throw a comment down in the comment section, and I'll look at everything you say and give you a response, and maybe even if you have a good idea, put it in an episode and do another update. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I will talk to you in the next episode.